New tonight, I quote, "You and your family will be killed very slowly. We plan for the death of you and your family every day. Someone in your family is going to have a very unfortunate incident." Tricia Raffensperger is the wife of Georgia's Secretary of State, Brad Raffensperger, and she is breaking her silence to Reuters, sharing some of the disturbing and horrifying threats and harassment that her family has endured, all because her husband spoke the basic truth, stood up to Donald Trump and his big lie that the election was stolen from him, said facts about what happened in Georgia. Out front now, Brad Raffensperger. And Secretary, I appreciate your time. And, frankly, I'm sorry to be speaking to you under these circumstances, but it takes a lot of bravery and it's so important to speak out about it. I mean, why is Tricia deciding to tell us all of this now, to share these threats publicly?
Well, I think it was helpful, really, for her to do that, probably to get it off her chest, but then also just to let people know that it's not just her, it's election workers, people all over this country, people sometimes married to an official, but it's sometimes the election worker themselves. And at the end of the day, we need to get the message out that this is not acceptable. This is not acceptable behavior to threaten the wives, the children, the family of people that work for the government, or even the government workers. They didn't sign up for this, they're employees. And I don't believe that really elected officials sign up for these death threats either. It's time that elected officials on both sides hold our sides accountable. So if you're on our side of the aisle, on the right side, we need to hold our people accountable and we need to clean up our backyard, just like the left needs to clean up that backyard. Everyone wants to talk about the other person's backyard. We need to clean up our own backyard. We need to start having some honest discussion. We need to start putting integrity, not just back in elections and making sure we have integrity there, but also in our elected leaders.
So, Tricia talks about how your family actually went into hiding, Secretary. I mean, this is incredible. Again, I know it's hard to share it, but I think it is so powerful. You had actually had to go into hiding in late November. Intruders broke into the home of your daughter-in-law. And that same night, members of the far-right pro-Trump group, the Oath Keepers, were found outside your home. So they were actually there. We've never known any of this before. This just, I'm raising this point because this isn't just threats, right? This is actually showing up. I mean, what else can you tell us about this? It must have been terrifying.
Well, at the point we realized we didn't know how many people were going to show up that weekend, but it seemed apparent to us that they were basically casing our house, seeing what kind of security measures we had. And so we just decided that we'd take an early Thanksgiving vacation, and that's what we did.
So you tragically lost your oldest son, Brenton, at the age of 37 in 2018, a loss that nothing could ever replace. And I know your wife told Reuters that terrible loss weighed heavily on her amid these threats. And she told Reuters, and I quote, "Tricia, I hesitate to say this because I'm afraid someone might use it against me. But I have lost a child, and I don't ever want to go through that again." Because of these threats, I know you and Tricia stopped seeing Brenton's young children, right? You're tied to your son.
Yes.
To feel such fear, Secretary, it brings tears to my eyes. It's truly sickening.
Well, we just never wanted to have our grandchildren over here, and all of a sudden a situation arose. Even if it wasn't a violent thing, just people screaming and hollering, shouting at me, but my grandchildren hearing that, just kind of think about the emotional scars that could happen to them, but also then what if they're actually in physical danger? So that's why we took, a several month break of having the children over there until things started calming down a little bit. But, as you read off in the top of your piece, some of those threats came in as late as April 24th. Now, I understand that it's still going around and the rest of the country, other states, other state election officials are still being threatened also.
April 24th. I mean, just to be clear, right? We're April 24th of this year, right? 6 weeks ago. So someone used a fake email address. They used your name. They tried to make it appear the messages were coming from you. And then these were awful things also, about Tricia. One of them read, I quote, "I married a sickening whore. I wish you were dead." You and your staff believe the motive for this, I understand, Secretary, was to force you to resign, was just to break you. But you haven't resigned. And
No.
you kept standing up for the truth of the election and that it was that was the fair outcome in Georgia. You're running for re-election. That I'm sure that was a very thoughtful and deep conversation to get to that. After everything you've gone through, what made you decide to do that? I want to stay in this. I want to be a public official. I want to keep running.
Well, people are questioning my integrity. We made sure we ran an honest and fair election. Am I disappointed in the results? Absolutely. I'm a Republican, conservative one. But my job is to make sure we have a fair vote. And people are trying to push us off our program, our plan. And I'm not going to do that. I need to stand for integrity. What is really, I think, embarrassing as a Republican is that we have people that are on our side of the aisle that would do such shameful things and say such shameful things that are so vile. I always thought that we were the people that our party was better than this. And when you start seeing this, everyone on my side needs to hold people accountable. We need to watch what we say, and we need to make sure that what we say is respectful. We can have disagreements, political disagreements, but at the end of the day, we need to come together and talk to each other like fellow human beings, because it is something we have to understand that this is bigger. This country is bigger than just one person for every single office. We've had great presidents. We've had, great Congresses. We've had people in different positions, very important positions. But the country has always been bigger than just one person and one time. This is a big country, and we need to get back to, we need to run hard for our elections. And when we lose, we need to leave, and we need to leave quietly.
Thank you very much, Secretary Raffensperger. I appreciate your time, your honesty, and my best to you and to Tricia as you talk about this. Thank you.